We are live in Studio Bayabas, Cagayan de Oro City Center. I am Levan Margaret Muley.
And I'm Rusty E. Banak.
And here's our news report. For the local news, flood risk for China-Philippines Dam in Mindanao. A Chinese-backed hydropower mega project in the southern Philippines has sparked a row about how best to add more renewables to the country's energy mix. The dam and power plant will use the Pulangi River, where it pours through a lush forested canyon on the island of Mindanao. The Philippine government argues that the new hydro plant also bolsters the country's reliance on renewable energy. With this, conservationists disagree. Many have seen it as a needlessly high-impact facility that will inundate agroforested tribal land in Bukidnon province, damaging wildlife, ecosystems, and indigenous communities. The Big Ticket project is part of two bold initiatives: the Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's ambitious Build, Build, Build infrastructure program and China's globe-spanning Belt and Road Initiative. Duterte himself views the dam as a way to improve cooperation between the two countries, whose relationship has been strained by a long-running maritime territorial dispute in the West Philippine Sea. In April 2019, Duterte, the first Philippine president to come from Mindanao, attended the signing of the US $800 million contract between China Energy Engineering and Pulangi Hydropower Corporation. It took place during the Second Belt and Road Forum in Beijing, China.
For international news, water crisis in Africa. Need of secure water and the battle to get to water has been negative to the prosperity of the individuals in this African nation. Particularly ladies and children, as this condition uncovers them to numerous well-being dangers, empowers child work, which leads to children dropping out of school within the region. Data from the United Nations Children's Fund shows that 500 children die every week from lack of safe water in Africa. Lack of clean water has been exposed to sanitation in the region to a host of water-related diseases such as diarrhea and cholera. Collectively, about 180,000 children under 5 years of age die every year as a result of diarrhea. Meanwhile, Africa does not lack of water resources. In fact, the African continent has 63 international transboundary rivers basins, cover about 64% of the region land area, and accounts for 93% of the total surface of the water continent. The abundance of water resources in Africa does not reflect the current water condition on the continent. The unpleasant condition is partly attributed to the fact that water resources are poorly managed in Africa. As the population in Africa continues to grow, successive governments and related stakeholders have failed to meet the increasing water demand of the population as they barely invest in the water infrastructure to create the growing demand for water. That's all for our international news.
As far as the eye can see, Antarctica is covered by thick sheets of ice. In some places, an ice is several miles deep. This massive continent, as big as the US and Mexico combined, has for millions of years been home by some of the most breathtaking examples of ice on the planet. However, Antarctica's ice is now increasingly being threatened, and most researchers believe it is because of climate change. According to one recent study, the continent's ice is slipping away 6 times faster than it was in 1979. A study shows that Antarctica is now losing 252 gigatons of ice per year, and total of 3.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools per second. According to Michael Oppenheimer, a climate scientist and a professor of geoscience at Princeton University, this ice loss will only accelerate sea level rise, which happens for 2 reasons. One, a warming atmosphere warms the ocean and warmer water expands and rises. Secondly, warming also melts ice and glaciers all over the world. sending new waters to the ocean. So ultimately, if we lose all the ice that's vulnerable to a warming of only a few degrees, we're talking about a very, very big sea level rise. Way a strong global heating affects polar ice sheets. If climate change cannot be solved, then it will be very crucial to projecting sea level rise over the next century. Given the uncertainties over how serious sea levels rise will be and as to when this might occur, many researchers believe that there is still time to start to improve the predictions as long as we humans start to think straight as to how we're going to help the environment and ourselves. I am Vanessa Miavir in Antarctica.
Water equity. More than 1 million Californians are affected by unsafe and unreliable sources of water for cooking, drinking, and bathing. They can lose access to water supplies when they will run dry, especially during drought, when groundwater is relied on more heavily and the water table drops. Employment disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic can impair their ability to pay water bills on time. Communities of color are most often bounded by these challenges.